I was driving home late after visiting a friend, sometime after midnight. My phone GPS rerouted me onto a narrow county road, one of those roads with no lights, no houses, just trees on both sides. It was clear at first, cold but clear. Then the fog rolled in, not slowly, all at once, like someone dropped a wall in front of my headlights. Within seconds, I could barely see the hood of my car. The fog was thick, wet, heavy, pressing against the windshield. I slowed to a crawl. No radio signal, no phone service. Even the road lines disappeared. It felt like the world beyond my headlights no longer existed. Then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, wet, somewhere outside the car. I stopped completely. The engine idled softly. My hands tightened on the wheel. The footsteps stopped too. That's when I realized they hadn't been on the road. They were coming from the shoulder, too close. A shape moved through the fog ahead, not crossing the road, just standing there, tall, still. I flashed my high beams. For half a second, I saw a person, not waving, not asking for help, just facing my car. Then the fog swallowed them again. I tried turning around, but the road behind me looked exactly like the road ahead. No curve, no landmark, no sign. When I checked my phone, the compass was spinning. I drove forward, then backward, then forward again. Every direction felt wrong. That's when something knocked on my passenger window. One knock, firm, deliberate. I didn't turn my head. The fog pressed against the glass. Then a second knock, closer to the door handle. I slammed the gas. The tires spun, then caught. The car lurched forward, engine screaming. I didn't stop. I didn't slow down. After what felt like forever, the fog thinned, then vanished. Suddenly, I was back on a normal road. Streetlights, signs, civilization. The next morning, I checked the route I'd taken. There was no county road listed where the fog hit. No record, no name, just forest. And one local news article from years ago about a stretch of road where multiple drivers reported stopping for someone who was never found. I never take shortcuts anymore. My car broke down just after 1 a.m. on a back road I'd walked 100 times during the day. It was only a mile to my apartment, so I locked the car and started walking. That's when the fog came in. It didn't drift. It dropped. One moment, the road was clear. The next, I couldn't see 10 feet ahead. The fog swallowed sound in a strange way. My footsteps felt louder than they should have been, like the noise was trapped close to me. Then I heard another set of steps. They matched mine perfectly. When I stopped, they stopped. When I moved again, they followed. I pulled out my phone flashlight. The beam didn't travel far. It just lit the fog like a solid wall. That's when I noticed the footsteps weren't behind me anymore. They were on the other side of the road, walking at the same pace, keeping distance. A voice came out of the fog. Calm, too calm. "You don't want to keep going that way," it said. I couldn't tell where it came from. The fog flattened everything. I didn't answer. "I can walk you," the voice added. "You're almost there." I knew I wasn't. A shape shifted in the fog. Tall, narrow, moving sideways instead of forward. It stayed just far enough that my light couldn't reach it. But it was getting closer. Not fast. Careful, like it didn't want to scare me too much. That's when something my dad once told me hit hard. If you can't see more than a few feet ahead, don't move, and never follow a voice. I stepped off the road and crouched behind a guardrail. The footsteps passed. So did the shape. The fog shifted, and for a second I saw two figures walking side by side, talking. I stayed there until my legs went numb. Eventually the fog thinned. When it cleared, the road was empty. No footprints, no shapes, just my abandoned car in the distance, closer than it should have been. I drove home in silence. The next day, I checked local reports. A jogger had gone missing on that same road years earlier during a heavy fog advisory. Witnesses said he was last seen walking, talking to someone no one else could see. I don't walk at night anymore, and when fog rolls in, I stop moving. I was driving back from a late shift, taking a rural highway to avoid traffic. It was past 2 a.m., the kind of hour where even the radio sounds tired. The fog started light, then thicker. Then suddenly, the road ahead just vanished. I slowed down and turned on my hazard lights. Through the fog, I saw red lights ahead. Another car stopped. I eased closer, heart thumping. The car was pulled halfway onto the shoulder, hazards blinking just like mine. No movement inside. I rolled my window down a crack. "Hey," I called out. "You okay?" My voice felt swallowed the moment it left my mouth. No answer. Then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The car's engine wasn't warm. It had been sitting there for a while. As I was about to drive away, the driver's door creaked open. Slowly, a figure stepped out, but didn't walk toward me. They just stood there, facing my car, not waving, not asking for help, waiting. I cracked my window again. "You need a phone?" I asked. The figure tilted their head. Then, barely above a whisper, they said, "Turn your hazards off." Something about the way they said it, like an instruction, not a request, made my chest tighten. I didn't respond. Behind me, another set of hazard lights flickered on. Then another. One by one, red lights appeared in the fog. Cars stopping, lining the road in both directions. No engines running, no doors opening, just blinking lights. Something tapped on my rear window. Once, twice. I hadn't seen anyone approach. My mirrors showed nothing but fog and red lights. The tapping moved to the driver's side window. I kept my eyes forward and my foot on the brake. That's when I realized something terrifying. The only car still running was mine. Everyone else had turned their engines off, like they were waiting for something or someone. I slammed the gas. My car shot forward, horn blaring as I passed the stopped vehicles. No one moved, no one chased me. The fog thinned suddenly, like I crossed an invisible line. Within seconds, I was back on a clear highway. The next day, I looked it up. That stretch of road had multiple reports of fog-related pileups, drivers stopping, getting out, and never being seen again. Authorities said the same thing every time. Do not stop. Do not exit your vehicle. Do not follow what you see in the fog. Now, when I see hazard lights in heavy fog, I keep driving.